Hey, what's up guys, Kyle here from TKR, and today we'll be taking a close look around the Z270 Gaming M7 from MSI. I have been sitting on this motherboard for a while now, and it's about time that I put it to some good use with a new gaming build. It just seems to be a complete waste and shame if it's not being used, and this motherboard deserves just that. So make sure you stay tuned for that on the channel, but for now, let's check out what the M7 has to offer. So the M7 is a full-size ATX motherboard which is part of MSI's high-end enthusiast range. Features that lovely sexy black and grey theme, so finally we have no red or colour on this board, which is a really welcome sight to see. I do love the aesthetic look this motherboard gives, and with it having LED lighting across the board, which we'll take a look at later in the video, I feel it should just open up to a wider PC audience. It will truly fit in any build. This M7 is packed with features from top to bottom. The IO shield and the heatsink on the VOMs gives that gaming feel to it while not going overboard with that design. The M7 also features an 8+2 digital power phase with an 8 and 4-pin power connectors, what says to me the M7 is not going to be messing around when it comes to overclocking on the LGA 1151 socket on the 6th gen Skylake or the 7th gen Cabriolet CPUs. Moving on to the DIMM slots, well, it supports up to 64GB of DDR4 RAM with up to 4100 MHz speeds, so that can be pretty damn quick. Also features MSI's DDR4 boost, which if you're not aware of or used an MSI board before, pretty much fully isolates the memory circuitry to ensure maximum performance and stability. They do come with the steel armor for the extra durability, which is quite a common thing now on MSI boards, which is also on the free PC Express 16X slots. I do like the look of the steel armor, but I wish somehow we can get these in black in the future, which might be a problem due to the soldering issue, but you never know, maybe they can make it happen. Now the M7 supports 2-way SLI or 3-way crossfire, which will run at 8x in a 2-way configuration or 8x 4x in a 3-way configuration for your multi-card lovers out there. Comes with 3 additional PC Express X1 slots, so plenty of options to use here. Now if you love M.2 drives, this board does have you sort of 3 turbo M.2 slots, all with steel armor, which can be used in a RAID configuration for some godly insane speed with the M.2 Genie on board. But take note that these do share the bandwidth with the PC Express lanes. The middle slot has the M.2 shield, which is the first time I've seen this personally, which looks pretty badass. Comes with a thermal pad underneath, which is meant to help keep the M.2 drive cooler, safer, to run it faster. Personally, I want to show my M.2 drive off like the Samsung 960 EVO, which is not cheap to buy. I probably won't use this, but hey, it's there if you want it. For additional storage, it has 6 SATA 6GB ports and a turbo U.dot port with, you guessed it of course, steel armor. Now the M7 comes with 6 PWM fan headers nicely spread around the board, with one dedicated for a pump, which does make sense being that all-in-one coolers are a very common sight to see now in a lot of PC builds. Now if you're like me and love having good audio in games, well, the M7 has you covered as well. Hidden underneath the plastic lighting cover is MSI's Audio Boost 4 Pro, which features 2 independent audio processors with dedicated amplifiers, which is powered by Nahimic. Allows you to listen to, say, music from your desk speaker while still having in-game sounds from your headphones. Not sure how this will play out though, truthfully, until I test it myself. While we're here, you can see it has a VR boost chip to ensure a clean and strong signal to reduce motion sickness caused by a bad signal. Personally, I'm not even sure if that's possible because I don't use VR. For other important relevant features to note on the M7 itself, it has a debug code light with additional LED lights to help identify them tricky faults. Also comes with voltage checkpoints for a multimeter for you more serious overclockers out there. There's also 2 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports, one being angled below the 24-pin power connector and a second one at the bottom of the board. Also has a USB 3.1 Gen 2 port on the board itself and a flashback bias switch just below this. Comes with power on and reset buttons, so no need to jump start the board to get it going. And not forgetting of course the overclock game boost knob, which has 8 settings numbered from 1 to 11, which personally doesn't make sense to me, but each setting has a predetermined overclock setting for your CPU and RAM to unleash more power, which is perfect really for beginner overclockers, even though I always say do it manually. For the rear IA, well, there's your standard USB 2.0 and PS2 ports, perfect for mouse and keyboards, a clear CMOS button which is awesome if you mess up on a bad overclock, a single USB 2.0 BIOS flashback port, one display port, one HDMI port, you get 2 USB 3.1 Gen 1 ports with Killer's E2500 lamp, 2 USB 3.1 Gen 2 ports which are Type A and Type C, and of course your audio jacks. Moving on to the lighting effects on the motherboard itself, which is one of the most important features on the M7. Unfortunately, it don't feature RGB lighting, which was a little bit disappointing for me. Truthfully, I was expecting RGB here. I do like the look of the lightning bolt kind of style lighting effects it has on the board. It reminds me of the older Light Edition graphics cards from MSI. You do get 7 colours to choose from, which would fit around most PC builds themes people would like to build, like your reds, your yellows, your greens, your blues and your whites, etc. For style effects, you really only get breathing or flashing to select, so really not a lot to pick from here, and you can turn the lighting on or off, but that's it really with the lighting on this board. But that pretty much wraps up the video today on the M7 from MSI. To sum things up, it has a lot of great features which I tried to cover all in this video, so hopefully I achieved this. This motherboard should keep you going for a long time with plenty of options to use. I don't really have anything bad to say about the M7, it's simply a good solid gaming motherboard. If I had to say anything bad about it, it'd be the fact that it's got no RGB lighting, which was a little bit disappointing, but again, you don't buy a motherboard for the lighting effects. But make sure you stay tuned for future content on this new build. I'm going to be doing some modifications to the Corsair 570X case for better cable management for a personal preference. But thanks for watching, thanks for hanging out guys, and as always, hit the subscribe button and I'll catch you next time. See ya.